All right, guys, Dad Dash here, and I've got kind of a little bit of a special video here for you guys today. So, I normally, I've shown you guys the best phones and, go on and looked at, the Z Folds, I've got the S23 Ultra, which I'll be doing something on here soon. I've got, I've shown you the S22 Ultra, which is, was the best candy bar style phone you could get. But listen, these phones I've shown you are all phones that you're going to have to trade in or get a good deal through your carrier on because they're very expensive phones. So the question I had and have had is somebody wants to jump into the gig market. The entry point phone I've already profiled is the best way you can get into an iPhone besides having a carrier deal is the iPhone SE3, and I've profiled that and told you guys, hey, it's a great phone for what it is. It's still rather expensive at $399. But it's future-proofed. You have it for 5 years. And, it's not bad. But it's not, for $400, you would expect maybe a little bit more. But, if you can get the right deal on it, you can get it for less than $400, and it's not bad. But, so this is what I found in all practicality. I went and said, you know what, I want to find out what's the cheapest entry point that you could get a phone, a new phone, a reliable phone, not a phone that's old or going to lose its update patterns. This is a brand new phone from Samsung I bought. Be upfront with you, I don't plan on keeping it. It'll get sent back, but I bought it and I'm going to use it, and I want to see how does it do. Can it do the workload that I need it to do? What are the limitations of it? And that's what I'm going to be learning about. And it's the new Galaxy A14 5G. What attracted me to this phone was its size, number one, and two, the price, because it's $199. So I'm going to show you the phone here. So this is we're gonna get this phone out. I'm going to show it to you briefly here, and then I'm going to do a setup for you. We'll skip ahead. I'll get it set up, and then I'll show you how I set it up using GoodLock, because that's a question. That's one of the things. You buy one of these phones, and it's not just buying a Samsung. You gotta be able to set it up right to get the most out of it. So this is the phone right here. We're gonna open it up. We're gonna see what we think about it. It looks nice, and for $199, again, I want you to remember this because this phone will get cheaper in the aftermarket. But this is $199 off the Samsung website, straight out. It's got a kind of a little bit of a matte finish backing. I believe, let's look at the specs on the back. I'll tell you, this is you're not getting a lot out of it as far as spec wise. Let's see here. Yeah, I thought it might be on the back, but it's not. We'll have to look it up. But let's see what we got in the box here. So we'll lay that here, or we'll put that on this little stand here. So this is how I'll show you how to set it up. All right, so it comes with a nice, hold on. All right, we're gonna need to edit that out. So anyway, so here comes terms and conditions, device temperature, quick start guide, blah, blah, blah. Comes with a nice little USB-C to USB-C cord. No charger in the box, so you have to get that, but for $199, But I believe it comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM. The processor is not anything to shout home about. And I believe it's either 32 gigabytes of storage or 64 gigabytes of storage. I'm not sure which one I got, but, for the $199, I'm thinking it might be only 32. So it's not a lot of storage. It's a bare bones package. But remember, my iPhone SE was only 64 gigs. So let's power this up real quick. If you look on the side here, it's got 2 buttons here. It looks like it's got a volume rocker right here, and then it's got the power button. I don't believe there's any fingerprints built in. The fingerprint might be on the side. I'm not sure. I'll find that out. But this was, I believe it's also got a headphone jack. So that's nice for people that want to plug in their headphones. Not that matters for gig work, but something you don't see much. I think the iPhone SE had one, and then they took it away. But this is being touted for the screen. They've improved the screen on it from what I've read on this thing. And we're hit start. There's no SIM card. I've got to add my SIM card and do all that. So we're leaving it at that. There's the screen. It doesn't look bad. I don't think it's going to do great in direct sunlight. So I mean, I'm going to use this. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to put it through my own workflow and see what it does and see, can this hold up? I mean, obviously I expect there to be some things some exceptions I've got to make, but I also don't necessarily think that I should have to, that I should come back and say it can't work, So, and I believe if you're getting a newer phone, my belief is you're getting a newer phone, updates, this is going to be your best route, potentially, at this price point, than jumping in and buying something that goes out of style in a year. And it should hopefully, in theory, I think, hold up. My theory on it is we're talking about this would be a good companion phone to, like, say, an iPhone or something like that, where somebody who says, I want to use driver utility helper, but I'm okay using, like, Para with, Uber Eats, or I'm okay with just managing Uber Eats and Grubhub on its own. I really want to have, you're in a high-volume DoorDash market, so you put the DoorDash market and pair it with the driver utility helper app. You can see order value, all that good stuff, and it runs. I'm going to see if it'll work Maxymo and driver utility helper at the same time. I don't think it will, because when I do it, I'm always using at least 6 gigabytes of RAM or more when I'm running both of those. But this does have the RAM Plus, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can make it work. We're going to test it all out. Anyways, guys, next time I'm going to get this set up, and then I'll be back. Set up as far as getting my SIM card in the phone and all that good stuff. And then I'll be back to talk with you here and go over exactly how I set the phone up on Good Lock, get the swipes, gestures, and all that good stuff. So this can kind of be a tutorial for that as well. Talk to you soon. All right, guys, so we are back here, and I've got the phone set up. So I want to go over a few things. I've got a few questions answered. I'm going to go over the setup of the phone here and what you need to do if you were to buy a Samsung phone here, how you can optimize it for gig work, especially if you're buying it specifically just for gig work. So first thing to know is, as I mentioned before, this is the A14 5G. This is the latest model. It's $199. I will not be keeping the phone, but I bought it for purposes of using it a little bit and then doing some tutorials on it, because this is a phone that I was thinking, okay, price range, this is something, as I mentioned earlier during the unboxing, that I thought this is something that's in the range that people will buy. Although I am going to tell you that I cannot recommend it, and I'll go over the reasons why. But first off, let's get into the internals of the phone. Let's go into the settings. And we'll go down here. One of the things you want to make sure you do when you first get the phone is you want to go into battery and device care. And you're going to see the memory on the phone. So this phone has 4 gigabytes of RAM, onboard RAM memory. And what you want to do as you're using the phone throughout the day, you want to continue cleaning it. And especially the lower memory phones, it's going to be important you do this as you're using the phone. In order to keep it running smoothly. You can also turn on RAM Plus, which you just tap on here, and you can do 2 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes, and you just toggle it to on. This will allow you to use some of your onboard storage, and the answer to the question from earlier, we have 64 gigabytes of onboard storage, and it will expand the RAM usage. So for things needing to use high memory tasks, it will actually start to convert. It converts 4 gigabytes of your onboard storage, and we'll do basically swap that out for memory heavy tasks, especially if you're using multiple apps, using driver utility helper, Maxymo, things like that. Now, how to set this thing up. Now, one thing to know is on the lower end phone, and this is considered to be, I think the A05S is the next lowest phone. That is the lowest phone. I think you can get that one for like $139. But this is the most expensive under $200 phone that you can get right now on Samsung. And on this here, you're not going to get access to full Good Lock. So the only thing you get access to is one-handed mode. So what I recommend is you download the one-handed mode. I'll show you the application right here. It is, where is it at? Let's see here. There it is right there. One-handed operation plus. It's from Good Lock Labs. It's in the Galaxy store. You download this, and then you create your handles. And you'll see what I've created. Now, you want to keep it very basic. I have only downloaded 3 gig apps on this phone because this is a phone that is not going to be able to handle probably more than 3. And let me tell you, it didn't even handle 3. It actually shut down and gave out in the middle of a dash or in the middle of accepting an order. It literally had to optimize. It had to restart, and it just shut off. And that's because it got overwhelmed because it had Maxymo running. It had driver utility helper app, and multiple orders were trying to come through, and it just said poof, done, poof, right out. But anyways, we'll get into that in a little bit. I'll get into that later. But what you want to set it up for is some swipes, and you'll see these little light blue bars here on the sides here. This is where the swiping occurs, but I have it set up on the left hand side. Swipe in, quick swipe in, opens the Dasher app and pop-up view. Quick diagonal swipe up, opens the Grubhub driver app. Quick diagonal swipe down, opens the Uber app. If I swipe over and hold, screenshot for me, and then that way if I want to quickly put any apps in pop-up view, I can hold it up, and I'll do some demos of exactly what that looks like. And diagonal down puts it in the split view. Now, if you go on the right-hand side, I kept it simple and easy. Quick in gives me my sheets because that's what I use for all my spreadsheeting. Swipe, quick swipe up opens driver utility helper. Quick swipe down opens Maxymo. And again, I just kept straight left in on hold as screenshot, finder search, and one-handed mode. And again, I'll show you what all these modes look like and what this looks like so you can see it in action. So let's do a quick swipe in. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. And this is really helpful and very helpful with quick. There it is. DoorDash app open. Boom. There it is. Uber Eats. Boom. Grubhub. So there they all are right there. And that way, if I want a quick swipe in, I can pull one up. Now, you notice I put the 3 apps right here at the bottom, which is what I would recommend because it lets you toggle through the apps. Now, suppose I want to go in and look at driver utility helper app. There it is. Swipe down. There's the Maxymo app, and I have that one bigger because it just looks, it needs to be bigger for purposes of seeing everything. And if I want to swipe over, it's going to open up the Sheets application. And it'll give me access to all my spreadsheets. I'll show you what that looks like. Right here. And then I can open them up. And now, let's say I open this spreadsheet up right here, which is the spreadsheet from this evening. So I want to open that up, and I want to turn that into a pop-up. There it is. I just swipe up and hold it. Let's go back in here. Say I want to look at, let's just say I want to look at the gallery app because I'm trying to, spreadsheet information. I can do that. There it is at the bottom. Boom. And there I can pull up, the information I need and type it right in. And then when I'm done, swipe it down. So those are the nice handy dandy little gestures you can set up, which really makes it easy. And especially if you don't want to have any of the helper apps, you can do stuff, and then you can also go and hold it over, and there it screenshots for you, and you're done. So those are the nice little handy dandy little things that this can do, and that's available. It gets better as you get the better Samsung phones, but that's what you have set up here. Now you also see I have my little slide over panel, and you see driver utility helper app is set up on there along with Maxymo. I'm not going to get into those apps or what I set up on those, but you want to get them downloaded. You can download the driver utility helper app. You got to go into Chrome and download it from the driver utility helper app website. You do have to turn on to allow unknown sources, and then it'll let you download it. And Maxymo is done through the Google Play Store. So guys, this is the setup. This is what you want to do. You just want to you want to set the phone up like this if you want to get the most out of it. This is what makes a Samsung device so powerful. Because as you're going around and you can just swipe left, swipe right. Now, again, I have a more advanced setup. I've gone over it on what I use for my S22 Ultra. And it's the same setup I use on my S23 Ultra. And it's, again, those phones are lightning fast and a whole nother level experience. But I really wanted to capture and see what this experience was like, give you guys my thoughts, which we'll be doing here in the next segment. So stick around, guys. I'm going to talk to you here in the next segment on my thoughts on this phone and device. So I'll see you there. All right, guys. So Dad Dash back here. So this is the wrap-up conclusion for the A14 5G. So I want to go over my experience with the phone, and I want to go over with you what I think about it. So first of all, my experience with the phone. First of all, it's not a bad phone. Okay, it's just there's a thing that there's one problem with the phone, and you're not going to overcome it as far as using it for a multi-app experience. Now, I was only using it for 3 apps. But the 4 gigabytes of RAM really does hold you back. It slows the phone down quite drastically. Even with the RAM Plus, which Samsung touts as a solution to the low RAM. And RAM Plus is simply where it converts some of the storage over into RAM. It still did not help. And in fact, in the middle of just driver utility helper app running with Maxymo, and there was a couple of orders coming in, and boom, the phone shut off. It just reset because it got overwhelmed. Luckily, because it was a stacked order, I had the 70 seconds, so the phone came back on with 3 seconds left, and I was able to hit accept because it was an offer I wanted to take. And you know, that was just what it was. It had just gotten overwhelmed. So with that in mind and using it, like I said, it's not bad. It's good in hand. It's very durable. This is actually a phone I would recommend that you don't put a case on, surprisingly enough, because although you can't really see it, it's plastic, and it's a durable plastic. It's kind of a matte finish. Feels good in the hand, very grippy. You don't, buying the extra money for a case for this, I just don't see the point. The screen is made of Gorilla Glass. I mean, it's not going to break. I actually dropped it once, and it was fine. I know I'm not keeping the phone, so it's kind of dangerous to drop a phone you're not keeping. But there's no damage to it whatsoever. But it's very durable. So it's a great, it's a great price point for just a toss around phone, just a secondary device. But the problem is that you're going to be limited in what you can do by making this your secondary device. So that's just a caution, to caution you before you would fork out money for it, because $200 is not a cheap amount. Now you can get this, you can get some trade-in deals if you have a phone to trade in. On the Samsung website, a lot of carriers are giving this phone away for free. I mean, again, the thing is, this would definitely not be a main phone. I would highly recommend against that unless you only do DoorDash, and I don't recommend anybody just do one app. So I cannot recommend this phone as a primary phone. Now, if you are somebody who's an iPhone user and you're looking to dip your foot in the driver utility helper pond, and you don't want to go all in, then this is a great starting point, because I would recommend it for running just DoorDash driver utility helper. Or if you want to flip it over and just run like Grubhub and Uber Eats and Maxymo, running those 3 together, and that's all you're doing with the phone when you're using it, I think it would hold up okay. But I would really caution whether or not you want to try to do all 3 consistently over time. You're going to want to learn some things on it. If you are going to do that, you're going to want to constantly be optimizing the phone. You're going to be constantly wanting to clear out the memory. And it's something you're going to have to do quite often, or you're going to really get slowed down and you're going to run into a lot of problems where the phone will reset. You may get to a drop off and it may just decide it's overwhelmed. And those are things that could slow you down or really hinder your money making ability, which is, again, a reason why I would say not a buy here, guys. Not a buy. But again, it's a good entry point, $169 with trade-in, $199 straight out the box, 64 gigabytes. It's got expandable storage. It's got, for those of you that want to listen to media and stuff, you've got the headphone jack. Doesn't come with headphones, but you've got a headphone jack in there. I mean, it's got some things in here that are nice. But again, when we're looking at this, what I would recommend is if you're in this sub 200 price point, go on eBay, bite the bullet, look for a aged flagship phone I believe the S20s are going for under 200 right now. I would jump into that market. I think you can get one for like 128 gigabytes of storage. It comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can't go wrong with that. 8 gigabytes of RAM will get you fine. And then I believe they're doing another 8 gigabytes of RAM plus, and you should be able to run everything fine and definitely run the big three fine. You can add in there some of the shopping apps, and you would still be doing fine. But on this phone, yeah, very limited. Very, very limited. But I'm going to say it's not bad. It's very smooth for a cheap phone. And I can remember using some older Samsungs that were not this smooth and were terrible experience. But again, it's just when you start running a lot of stuff together on this thing, it slows down and then it almost breaks down. So again, that's where we stand on it. Will I be keeping it? No. Obviously, I've got an S22 and S23 Samsung Z Fold 4. I traded in my S22. So, I have 3 great phones that I'm not going to add this one in. There's really no place. I wouldn't use it anyways. So it'll be going back to Samsung here in the next couple of days. I may do a little bit further testing with it, test out a few more scenarios, and kind of go from there. But overall, this one's going back for certain. Like I said, I may look at some of the other models that come out as the year comes along, give you my thoughts and perspective on it. Because, again, I think it's important that, picking the right handset is very, very important. Picking the right technology is very, very important. Picking the right things to help your business is very, very important to you maximizing your revenue, maximizing your profitability, maximizing your efficiency. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this series when I do these things. I'm going to continue to do it. I've got stuff coming out on the S23 Ultra for those of you that are looking at a higher end phone. I've still got to do the Z Fold 4. I'm going to bring that out as well. And, like I said, I'm going to continue to be putting this information out because I think it's relevant. And I think it's the stuff that, serious gig business operators need to look at here, especially if you come in the market for a phone. You need to pick the right handset. Anyways, guys, I will talk to you soon. Stay safe, stay profitable, and as always, I'll talk to you in a little while.